Hello. No, it's been a little while since I did it in a short form video like this. I really don't care for drama, and honestly, I try to stay out of that kind of stuff because to me, drama's just a bunch of headaches. I'm sure a lot of people could sympathize with that. Also, I don't really want to be. I'd rather not be regarded as a drama tuber. I'd much rather just make stuff, make content that is rather inspiring and uplifting. And, drama's not very conducive to that. For the most part, there's too many topics. I figured I'd cover in this video. Uh, first and foremost is the Sinder. Well, okay, I don't know if it's an apology, but Sinder's Google Docky. Aside from the whole thing, both the Google Docky and also what happened back in, I think that was April. The whole thing just seems like a bunch of teenage high school girl drama, and I don't know, maybe Cinder's trying to redeem herself, partially due to my personal religious beliefs. I personally believe that she should have at least a chance at redemption. A chance at redemption in all that. And granted, I mean that more in just the sense of being like some sort of divine redemption or that kind of thing. This also applies to redeeming herself, in the court of public opinion, as well as the kind of connections that she had. But I'm under no delusions that that would be a very long, difficult road for her. But that said, forgiveness is a rather important thing, and forgiveness isn't just. Some people seem to think that forgiveness is just like, oh, don't worry, it doesn't matter, it's no big deal. No, that's more enabling. Forgiveness, I'd say, is. Hang on, something in my eye. Really happens a lot, especially at work. It's kind of dusty around there. But I digress. A rather big part of forgiveness. This is where people tend to. This is where I think a lot of people get mixed up in thinking that it doesn't matter. It's all water off a duck's back. It's acknowledging that a person has changed or is working on changing, that they're trying to make things right. Perhaps also acknowledging how much that they have done to try and make things right. But it's also very important is that it's allowing someone a chance to do that. And personally, kind of like I said in the previous short form video, I guess it wouldn't be considered a short. And I really need to work on how I can puppeteer this model. Much like I said in that video, kind of one thing I really respected about Cinder is that, well, she had a tendency to be quite the ball of sunshine, and well, it'd be really nice if there's more people that were like that, but that well, not just more people, but more VTubers that are like that. I suppose there might be, for all I know, there's other VTubers, but I just either don't know of them or don't know that they are like that. And, well, I do kind of wish I could brighten people's days like that, but that's just not a trait that I have. Now, having now said all that, switching topics to one of the other big things going on today. So how Hasan Piker treated his dog and all that. Yeah, I grew up around dogs, and okay, first off, his dog is extremely well behaved. But it does, by all accounts, look as though that it's very well behaved for all the wrong reasons. I grew up around dogs, and yeah, the dogs weren't always all that well behaved, but that's kind of normal for dachshunds. They're shitheads. I'm gonna be honest. Kind of part of their charm, though. It's also kind of part of the charm of the breed, as odd as that might sound, and it's also kind of a good thing that they're that they are pretty cute and very sweet, affectionate dogs. Because it does make it a lot easier to put up with that behavior. But even then, no. My family never did stuff like, never treated our dogs like that. And, contrary to it, Anissa says, no, a dog does not react to positive reinforcement training that way. I've also seen the kind of crap about it being a place command. A place command? Place command my pasty white ass! I've seen place commands. I've used place commands myself. You know what a place command is? It's saying something like down, off, place. And yeah, you do more or less say it that way because you have to be rather firm and commanding, as Caesar Milan would say, calm and assertive. In order for the command to actually work, two other ones would also be stay and wait. In case you're wondering, the difference is that stay is you give that command if you're telling the dog to stay in that place until you command them otherwise. Wait is more if you just kind of want them to, well, wait behind for you. Like, say, if you're leaving to go on an errand or something like that and you don't want them running out the door behind you. And furthermore, would you actually, obviously if you give a command like that, no, the dog's not gonna yelp. Clipping her paw on something. I guess maybe Hasan was maybe trying to get like, oh, Kaya stubbed her toe or something like that. I've been around dogs enough. Unless they like step on something sharp, or they accidentally hit something that is hot enough to cause pain, or maybe that's got an electric current running through it. Not unlike the collar that dog is no doubt wearing. they actually tend to be coordinated well enough to avoid doing something like that. And I guess there is the possibility, like, that dog's tail getting caught in something, but obviously that didn't happen in the video. I'd also go so far as to say that with how long the dog is being made to kind of lay around in such a small spot is probably also rather is it's not as obviously so probably doesn't, and also doesn't rise quite to the level of using a shot collar, but yeah, that does strike me as being rather abusive. Especially with how a lot of dog breeds, they like to actually be really right up close to, usually like right next to their owner, or even just people that they're attached to. And even then, they're probably not going to be holding still for that long. So, yeah, really doesn't have to be said, but on this part too, really goes without saying that Hasan is a lying piece of garbage on this point, as he is on so many other points, but this one in particular. And also kind of I believe it was Quagmire 3PO who said, "What, you torture small animals for fun? That's the first sign of a seal coat, you freak." Gee. Wonder what the dog might have buried in the backyard. Oh wait, that wasn't the dog burying something, was it? So yeah, that's about all I have to say here. And if you'll excuse me, I need to go ahead and some rosies to buy some stuff from the in-game shops off screen, so that people aren't forced to watch that while I stream. Take care.